So, narcissists are obsessed with submission. That is one of the telltale signs of dealing with someone who is NPD like, right? And I say NPD like because, we are not, or I'm not, a licensed psychologist who can diagnose the behavior. However, I'm very familiar with the process of, seeing behaviors, and when you see these things, it's like, okay, before you get the diagnosis, um it's like, say, NPD like. So when you see these videos, and they will be titled as such, um that's what you'll hear me say. You'll hear me say NPD like or BPD like. BPD like means borderline personality disorder, right? Or what is the other one? Or you'll hear me say egotistical misdirected personality disorder. Okay, because that's what we're really dealing with. We're dealing with an overinflated ego. That ego has been made fat because it just feeds and feeds and feeds that supply that, you kind of hear those terms. um, but they're very obsessed with submission. However, you need to know what they want you to submit to. And I'm not going to talk in terms of, submission in the form of, do what I say and, all of that type of stuff. But it's more of an energetic thing, because everything is energy. Everything is energy. Everything in the, material, physical form where you can, see it, touch it, taste it, smell it. That's when it's materialized. But everything is spirit, and spirit is energy. It's like one and the same, because it can't be destroyed or anything like that. It can only be transferred, right? That's it. Spirit transference, energy transference. So here's the thing. When I say that those who are NPD like or BPD like, they want you to submit. It's the submission of a certain, under a certain energy. And so you'll see this chart here. It's an emotional frequency scale, right? So there are emotions that are there, and they resonate at certain frequencies, right? And is higher frequency emotions and lower frequency emotions. So those who are NPD like or BPD like, or suffer from egotistical misdirected personality disorder, they can only they operate in the lower frequency emotions. And as you can see by this scale, the highest frequency emotion on the lower frequency emotional scale is pride. Ego based, right? It's pride. So they're there, right? And as you can see, those emotions, those lower frequency emotions, I believe the highest three are pride, lust or desire. I really choose to say the word lust as opposed to desire. Because, and I say that because, Yahweh or God gives us the desires of our hearts, right? And so, you know, lust is a better fit of a word. So it's pride, it's lust, and anger. And then there are emotions that are lower, right? But you got pride, lust, and anger. And those who suffer, because they suffer from those emotions, that's the highest that they can go, right? That's the highest that they can go. And they're usually operating in those three emotions, you know, before they spiral back down. Like in the scriptures, when you hear it says pride comes before the fall, they cycle from pride down to shame, back up to pride, down to shame. Their foundation is really based in shame. That's really where their foundation is, in shame. And then they can work themselves back up to pride, but that's their ceiling. And so, them operating in what they deem to be the highest, right, of their ceiling is pride, lust, and anger. And if the person or people that they are dealing with seems to be getting up there in level with them as far as anger, lust, or inadequate desire, or pride, they tend to want to bring them down or in submission under those three emotions, right? They want their subordinates, right, or those who they want to submit to them, not to be up in those three emotions where they try to live. Do you follow what I'm saying? They want, the other people to be, in that apathy or guilt or remorse or regret or shame. They really want people to really stay at the shame or the guilt level. That's where that, emotional blackmail and all that type of stuff come, the guilt tripping and all of that, to keep, it's like keep you there. It's the submission, right? So it's the submission and those lower frequency emotions. So that's what they really want you to, that's what they really mean by submission. Because think about it. Have you ever really experienced love with them? No. Lust or desire, yes, but not love. Love is up there in the higher frequency emotions. That's way above where they are, right? Because as you can see, when you start to get above where they are at pride, it's courage, right? And guess what you have to do? You have to have the courage to get past their pride. And truly even your own, if you really look at it, right? Even your own. But your pride isn't really based in how theirs is. It has to do with them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Where your pride may have to do, with being proud of your family and things like that. And so it's those your do I want to use this word? The goodness. I'm going to use that word. Your goodness can be manipulated and used against you, right? Your loyalty can be manipulated and used against you. That's a good quality, right? Loyalty is a good quality. There's this goodness that it's a good quality, but they know how to manipulate that and use it against you. And so in that sense, you being proud of your family and proud of, who you are and proud of, they can manipulate that. So a lot of times you have to get past that and get to that place of courage to continue to work on continuing to move it up to what? Willingness. That will, the will or the willingness to see you for who you really and truly are, right? Accepting who you are and accepting who they are, who they truly are, not who they've pretended to be or who they've gaslighted you into thinking that they are or whatever, right? Accept this is who they are. This is what they do. This is how they conduct themselves. And leave it at that, right? But continue to focus on you. Focusing on you is not selfish. At this point, is self-preservation, because you have to preserve your heart. You have to preserve your mind and your sanity. You have to preserve your peace, right? Okay? And continuing to work up to the higher frequency emotions where reason, in the scriptures it talks about that. Come now, let us reason together, right? Reason has to do with, information, education. You see what I'm saying? You're being educated even right now on that behavior, what that's like, and what you need to do to continue to work yourself above that, because then you're no longer in submission to lower frequency emotions. You're no longer submitting yourself to that inordinate pride, that inordinate desire or lust, that anger of theirs, where you stay in guilt mode and shame mode and those lower frequency emotions. People out here talking about law of attraction, right? Well, how did you attract that person? Maybe, and I can't say maybe, but you were in the lower frequency emotions as well, right? Do the work. Check. Where did you pick up shame? What happened in your life that caused you shame if you were operating in shame? What were you carrying around that has that puts you in that state of having this emotion of guilt, right? That apathy. You see what I'm saying? Maybe even the anger or an inordinate desire, which is lust, or maybe even pride yourself. But if law of attraction, it had to be somewhere up in there. And usually, in most cases, when you're dealing with the narcissist, there's the two sides, right? The NPD right, person or whatever, they usually attract those who have the empaths, right? Like there's nothing wrong with empathy, but there's something wrong with empathy when it has gotten to the place of sacrificing yourself in order to please others, be accepted, or any of those things, right? A lot of times we have to look back into our upbringing, into our childhood. Were you given a lot of responsibility? Were you made to be responsible for things that wasn't yours to be responsible for? I mean, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with children having responsibilities. I mean, clean up after yourself, take out the trash. You know what I'm saying? Life skills. We all had to learn that, right? But I'm talking about like responsibilities that was way above and beyond what you were really capable of handling, at your age, even emotionally, and you had to take up the slack for that, right? A lot of times, those with NPD or those who are NPD like attract those empathetic souls who have been able to carry a lot of responsibility because they want to put their stuff on you and you carry their responsibilities. And now you're sitting up there with this bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all might have a bag, but you carry your bag, I carry my bag. You know what I'm saying? And I know me personally, baby, I carry a clutch. I don't even like carrying purses. I need it to be, because there's only so much I need. I need my ID and my card that I'm going to swipe with. You know, with a couple of cards that I might swipe with. Anything up? Can you put that? Nope. This I pack light. I can't carry your bags, right? And so that's what tends to happen. You know, if you've been used to carrying someone else's or a bunch of people's emotional load, you are attractive to the narcissist, because then they can slip their bags on to you and you would think they're yours. You will think that they're yours. So let the shame go. That's a bag. Let the guilt go. That's a bag. Let the apathy go. That's a bag. Let the resentment, the remorse, the anger, the inordinate desire, which is lust, the pride, let those go. Those are bags. And pack light. 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 Light as in like sunlight, like bright light. And then light as in it ain't even heavy. Right? It's like a little clutch purse. And if you a man watching this, because it's some narcissistic women out there too that got NPD, BPD, EPMD. Drop it. Let it go. Right? Drop the bags that you were given somewhere down the line before that person was even attracted to you, and say, "Ooh, they know how to carry. They know how to carry. Let me go slip these." No, say, I don't want that stuff in my house, right? You don't want that stuff in your emotional house and space. Like, no, right? Right? So get up there. Get up there to that lighter energy. Get up there to that higher frequency, energy of emotions, where there's love and there's peace and there's joy and there's enlightenment and all of that. It's a beautiful space to be in. I'm telling you, it is beautiful. It's beautiful. And when you get there, don't think, because look, guess what's attracted to light? You ever been out? And everybody been outside when it's nighttime outside, right? It's nighttime, and then you got the little light. Like, I got one over there on my on the side of my house right there. The little the light that had the bugs, and then and the bugs just be all around it, because they are bugs, right? Pestilence are attracted to light, and then they get up there to that light, and that light kill them. Be like, right? You hear him getting shocked. That's what you got to do. You have to have so much light, right? And that electromagnetic frequency to where them pestilence get up to you and they get shocked. Like, That's what you want to do. You want to shock them. You want to shock the heck out of them, like Silk the Shocker. I don't know if y'all remember who that is. But yeah, shock them. That's what you do. You shock them with that light. And they be like, whoa, I ain't know that. Yeah. Right? So get up there, do the work. Do the work. This is your therapy. right? This is your therapy thing. When people are hurt, because that's what happens. You've been hurt, like, we get it. We understand. We know. But anyone, if you've ever been that one that thank goodness I never broke anything like a bone or nothing like that. Hallelujah, thank you. Right? But I have a daughter who has cerebral palsy, and so I know what therapy is all about. You had surgery and things like that, and so you're healing, and you have people, you have the nurses and things that help you to get your rest and everything that you need. But then at a certain point, it's like, okay, it's time for therapy. It's time to get up. You got to eat your food, get your nutrients in, and you got to get to work. You got to get in this therapy. You got to get your range of motion back, right, and all of that. You can't stay laying in the bed forever. You can't. Right? You can't. You can't stay laying in the bed forever. You can't just sit there and let your muscles atrophy and let your ligaments start to tighten up where you can't move and all of that. Like, no. You got to get up. You got to get walking about. You got to get moving about. And we're talking about emotionally. You can also do it physically too. You can get out here in nature. Go on your nature walks. Nature is healing. Get the sun, especially, I live in the Chicagoland area, baby. We ain't going to have the sun for too long. Right? I'm getting to the point where I'm getting up this money to where when after Thanksgiving, I could be gone, or at least by October. It's like, ooh, yeah, let the, had a nice fall weather and everything. And then soon as it's a burr, I'm on a plane. And then I'm somewhere for 6 months, and then I come back in May. Right? Because in Midwest, sometimes it snows in April. It's a Prince song, and you need to go listen to it, right? It's a Midwest thing. He knew what he was talking about. Sometimes it snow in April. He lived in Minnesota. Midwest, it do that, right? So get out there. Get your vitamin D in the sun. Walking is healing. The wind blowing on you in the air and all of that. Nature is healing. Hug a tree. Take your shoes off. Put your toes on the earth. Grounding. That's what they call it. Grounding. Get all of that. But for the most part, emotionally, it's time to do the emotional work. Do not let your emotions atrophy, right? Atrophy. Don't let it atrophy. Don't let your emotions atrophy. Don't let your emotions just sit there and die. Because guess what? You'll only attract another one. You stay in those lower frequency emotions, guilt, right? Shame, guilt, apathy, resentment, remorse, anger, lust, pride. Pride comes before the fall. So then you end up falling right back down to shame, guilt, apathy, resentment, and then you want to get off of that cycle. You want to get up there. So you got to do the work. You got to do the emotional work and build those muscles. So when your light is shining bright, and then here come them pestilence, it's like, ooh, light, but you got a different kind of light. You will have that light that will shock the out of them. I'm being PG just in case, some cheering around. We don't, be respectful to the cheering. All right, so I'm Coach Hadassah, metaphysician, educator, coach. I help people release trapped emotions and self-limiting beliefs to restore health and increase wealth. You want to click that subscribe button down and like this video. Tell me what you think. I think my comments are disabled. I don't know if they are, if they're not. I don't know. If they not, then hey, send me an inbox message or something. And tell me what you want me to go more in depth into. I don't really want to talk too much about what the narcissists do and what they did and how because it's a lot of that. Trust me, it's a lot of that. My recommended channel for all things narcissists is Dr. Romney. She is a licensed clinical psychologist, and she goes into all things narcissism, honey. She go there. That's my number one recommendation. But me, I'm more so talk about what you need to do as far as your emotions are concerned and getting you up in that energy, right? I'm an energy practitioner. So that's what we want to do. Get you back on, get you back in there, right? That energy therapy. That's what we're doing. That energy therapy, that energy psychology, to where, hey, they're going to be attracted to your light, but they get too close, they're going to get shocked. You heard? So, see you all next time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. All right? See you next time. Peace.